back. Karen here from stampingbees.co.nz. We have our monthly global video hop, and I'm so excited this month to be able to share with you on some tips and hints on how to use blends. I absolutely love blends, so I'm excited to be able to share that with you today. And I would also like to remind you to please click on the next person. Their link is in the top of my comments after the video, and you will absolutely love every single video that we've got to share with you on this hop. So please do click, please do like, and please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I would look forward to seeing you again next time. So let's flip over and let's get started. So blends, I absolutely love blends. It's one of my favorite coloring tools. Mind you, I like most of the colouring tools, but blends, you can do so much with them. We have them on page 179, and look at all these amazing colour combinations. In this catalogue here, you've got the ability to be able to buy them in not single amounts, be able to buy them in single pens. But once the new catalogue comes out on the 3rd of June, you do need to buy them as combos, so the light and the dark. Though in saying that, you do need the light and the dark, but if you were wanting to get some individual pens before the changeover, then get in quick before 3rd of June when we start using the new catalogue. But we do have a huge range of colours, and let me just show you some pens and run through a little bit about them. So I'll pop that to one side. Now these are the pens we're going to be using today. Let me just put that back up there. So just to run through a pen, we have two ends to our pens. We have what is like a bullet end, and we have like a paintbrush end. These are good for the smaller pen nib is good for using on smaller items, and the paintbrush end is great for bigger items. And you can use the paintbrush end from the side, because if you push hard down on the end of it, you will wreck the end of the brush. So it is recommended that you just use it sideways like that. And this end is the bullet. See how much smaller that end is? And then that just is great for colouring in smaller areas. One thing I would also recommend is that when you use them, you try and keep the lids on as much as possible, because they do dry out quite quickly. So it is a really good idea to keep the lids on. Now there are two ways that you can use them, and it's purely individual. Some people like to start with dark and then go to light. Some people like to start with light and then use the dark. Whichever way you choose, it's absolutely fine. There's no right or wrong. The only thing I would recommend is that you don't go too close to the edge, because they do saturate the paper, and if you put too much on before it dries, it can run over the lines of your stamping. And the other thing to use is Memento ink. It is the perfect ink for this. It won't run when you use them. So most of our stamp pads, etc., are fine also, just not stays on. So moving on to some of the things you can do with them, you can do shading. So with this, I have used dark colours and shaded out to very light, so you can work it like that. Or another thing you can do is, let me just find it. It was here somewhere. Okay, I'll just show you. Oh, here, had it right in front of me. Is you can use different colours. You don't have to shade from light to dark. You can colour in like you would normally colour in anything, and colour through with different colours. So you can use them like that as well. These are some projects that I've used blends on. So this is quite a simple card with just using the blends to colour in the flowers, having a little bit of dark in the centre and moving out, but not complicated, pretty straightforward. And then I did 2 of these. This is the grey. This is the grey urn with the terracotta jug, and I did that in grey granite. And this is the one that I did in crumb cake and soft suede. So you can see the difference there. Both are wonderful, I think, both the colour combinations. I love the soft suede and the grey granite. Great masculine card. And then I used this one I used blends to colour in the birds. So what I wanted to show you with this is that you don't always have to blend them completely. I've left sort of marks with this. Let's see if I can bring that a bit closer. I've left marks to give that impression of feathers, etc. And the texture of the body with a white breast. And of course, colouring flowers is always wonderful with blends. I've just mixed up a few colours in this one and blended them out to lighter colours, rich raspberry and petal pink, etc. And this one I've just done in reds. So there's a lot of versatility in using blends, and I'll show you the card that we're going to be doing today. I'm going to colour the flowers, etc. in to show you. So this is the card that I'm going to make with you today. So I'm going to show you how I coloured these flowers, etc. So let me zoom in so that you can see what I'm doing, and I will start colouring with some blends. Right, let's get going. So what I have started off here with, now I'm using Pool Party, and I will start with light Pool Party, and I'm going to I'm just making sure I've got you on the screen there, dark Pool Party, and I'm also going to be using another blue. This is light Night of Navy. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to use the bullet end because these are small flowers and I don't really want to go over the edge. I have die cut this out already, so I am just going to, and I've used the dark. After showing you, I've used the dark, but that's okay. I can come back in and do the rest in light. Too much chatting, not enough looking, but that's fine. You can see the difference now between the two. So I'm just doing, I'm not saturating the paper too much. I don't want too much. Now the other thing to bear in mind when you're using blends is that they do dry quickly, being alcohol blends. As I say, try and keep the covers in, but also don't go ahead and do all your light before you complete one item. This is because to get them to blend well, you want them to be a little bit, still a little bit wet, so you can get a good blending happening. So now I'm going back in with the dark, and I'm just going to blend those light navy blue stamens out a little bit and follow up on the shading. So this is quite a great stamp for already showing you where the shading is. So I am just going to follow that and a little bit up there. So that is really good when the stamp has that for you. But if not, you can always go on the principle of picking a direction that the sun is coming in, and then you work it that way so that the light, if the sun was coming that way, everything on this side would be lighter. Now I'm coming in with the light pen again just to blend those out to the end. Okay, and then I'm going to start on the next one. So I'm going to go through and do all these flowers, starting off with the light Pool Party, then coming in with the light Night of Navy, light Night of Navy, that's the one. And just doing what would be the stamens in the middle. Then coming back with the dark Pool Party and blending that out. And also going up to the shaded areas that the stamp has indicated. There we go, and then I'm going to come back in with the light, just to blend them all together. There we go. And then the next flower. So I'll do these flowers. What I'll do now is I'll speed up and do the flowers, and then I'll slow it down again when I start the leaves to talk about the leaves. And yeah, let's go. So that is the flowers. Now, just a quick explanation also about why I'm using 3. 2 is fine, but sometimes you can bring in, if you want to, another colour from one of the other pens to really give that in-depth look with the 3rd colour. So if you pick something in the family of the greens or the blues that really coordinates well, then you can really add, as you can tell with the centre of my flower, just a little bit more depth of colour, and you blend it out to mix in. So I'm doing the same here with the green. I have light old olive, dark old olive, and for my really light colour I'm using light granny apple green. So I'm just going to start off with, and as you can tell, I keep looking and I'll show you on this one. It does show the bullet and the paintbrush with the symbols there, but we have the skinny line and the fat line as well. So always double check before I'm about to open to make sure that I have the right end. So I'm just going to do the leaves. So I'm starting off once again with my light colour. Then I'm going to go in with the dark olive, and I'm going to just follow the shading that this stamp has given me, which is fantastic. And then I'm going to come in with the light olive to blend the two together. So I'm going to blend with light olive the dark olive out into the light granny apple green. So you get some depth on your flower, on your leaf. Okay, so once again I will continue and I will colour the rest of the leaves in, and I will just speed it up a little bit so that it doesn't take too long. So starting off with the light apple green, granny apple green. Right, now I'm going to do the bottoms of the buds because they have a bit of green, so I won't use the very light colour for that because that would naturally be a bit darker. So I will just start off with a little bit of the dark, I think, for that, and then bring in a little bit of the light. So I'm just going to you can see why the bullet is actually the best end for this. And this one as well. This has just got two little leaves here. And I will add a bit of light. Now for the stem, I've just used one colour, the crumb cake, light crumb cake, and the bullet end. And I've just run down the stem. Just very lightly. So this is the flower. Now I'll run through the set that we're using. I probably should have done that at the beginning, but I am using, and you probably recognise it, I'm sure, the Forever Blossoms, and this is the flower that I have just coloured in. And this comes with dies, and I've die cut that as well. So that's all ready to go. Now, one other thing actually I need to colour, and this is one leaf and one flower. So I'll quickly do that while I've got all the colours here. And this is going to be just on the side of the next to the sentiment. So I'll just run through this again. So I am just covering the flower with the light pull party, making sure that I don't put too much near the edge of the stamp. Not so bad because I've die cut these, so I'm not so worried. But if you were colouring in directly onto cardstock, you would need to make sure that you kept that away from the edge, just because it saturates the paper, as I said. And I'm coming in with dark Pool Party, and I'm going to fill in the shades that this stamp very kindly shows me. And a bit up there. And then I'm just going to run over it again with light Pool Party, just to blend them all together. There we go. Set that aside, and I'll just colour this leaf in. Same principle as I was doing before, using the light Granny Apple Green. And coming in with a bit of the dark Old Olive, just on these shaded bits there. And then blending these two colours together with the light Old Olive. Oops, opened the wrong end. Paintbrush. Okay. And we have those as well. So I'm just going to zoom out again as we put the card together. So let me just do that. There we go. So we have those all ready to go. I'm going to put those to one side. Now my base is thick Whisper White, and we have it measured at 10.5 by 14.8, and then I will just give that a bit of a burnish to make sure it sits nice and flat. And then I have a matting of the grey granite. I just love this colour, and it goes so well with the Pool Party. And now this is cut at 10 and 14.3. 10 and 14.3, and that is going to go on the top. Now I also had just a standard piece of Whisper White that is cut at 13.8 and 9.5. These are all centimetres. Now I just used from this stamp set the flower and the leaf to randomly stamp these flowers on the Whisper White. Now I did stamp off once before stamping so that the flower was not too dark, so each one was stamped off, and then I just added some leaves to fill in the space, and I did that in grey granite, and then I ran it through I'll just grab that, the subtle embossing folder. I don't know if you can tell that from there, but I absolutely love this folder, and I've run it through one way, and then I've run it again through the other way, and it really does give a look of a canvas. It really gives a lovely textured background. So I did that ahead of time because that's quite a lot of stamping involved there. So the other thing that I have pre-done, using the Parisian dies, I have cut out, using this beautiful swirl, just love this swirl, out of Pool Party. I've cut out 2 of these swirls. Die cut them. I'll just get the middle out of that to use. And then I have used from here, from this amazing set, Beautiful Moments. I just love the script in here. And I have used the sentiment Thinking of You, which I have pre-white embossed on the cardstock, grey granite cardstock, and I am just going to use the 2 1/4 inch circle punch to cut that out. Oops. I'm going to turn that over, and then I sort of want that about off to the right a little bit. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so let's start putting this all together. Right, I'm going to glue this onto my mat. There we go. I love 0.5. I do 0.5 on each side when I cut down for mats, etc. I just love the spacing of 0.5 personally, but you can do bigger or smaller, whatever suits you. Okay, so I'm just going to run the glue over the top part of this because I do want to be able to slip one of the swirls underneath. So I'm just gonna pop that about there. Yep, all good. Okay, so I don't need a lot of glue on the swirl. Just pop a little bit down the bottom. I may need to glue that top bit, but I'll do that once I've sort of got that all together. Isn't that just beautiful? I just love it. Love little swirls. Okay. Just put that up a little bit. Okay. There we go. And then I'm going to pop this one, I'm going to tuck it under there. And pop that little bit under as well, so I can push it up a bit further. There we go. That's about right. Actually, I'll just pull it over to the side a bit more. There we go. Oops, sticky fingers now. Okay, that's brilliant. Now I'm going to pop on, I'll come back, these are a little bit loose, but I'll come back and glue them down because I'm going to pop this on next. So I'm going to get my dimensionals and add some of these. So don't look if you don't like adding lots of dimensionals, because I do like adding a few. Don't want anything to be saggy. Wish it was that easy for me, just to add a few dimensionals so nothing was saggy. I'd make a fortune. Okay, one in there. So there is a few on here, but oh, good. And one there. It should be good. Now I will just pop the lid back on there, whip off those for you. Sorry, it's a bit tedious watching me peel the back of dimensionals, but it won't take me long. Okay, I always like to go back now and check that I've got them all. Yep. So this lovely circle shape here is perfect for this flower because it sort of wraps itself round, which is exactly what I want. There we are. And then the extra flower that I had. Now, because there is a little bit of height with that piece of card, I'm just going to put the dimensional down the bottom. And put that about there. And then the leaf, so I only need a small bit for the leaf. And I'll tuck that in as well. I just love these two colours together. Grey Granite and Pool Party. I think it's such a wonderful combination. in there. Okay, a little bit of extra that I wanted to add to the flowers before I forget is a little bit of Wink of Stella, just random on the big flowers. Always love a little bit of glitter, a little bit of shimmer and shine. And I will also add my little pool party gems, and I will get my Come Pick Me tool. Okay, actually before I do that I will just add a little bit of glue to this to make sure that it sticks down in the right place. Hopefully, I'm just always worried about putting too much glue. It's hard to get just a tiny bit, but oops, just add a little bit on the end there. Put that away. Just hold it for a second. Luckily this glue does dry nice and fast, and I will just add a little bit onto here. Don't need much, just hold it for a second. Doesn't need to be glued all over, but just to keep the ends from coming up and catching on things. So, aren't these so pretty? I just think they really, really are cute. And a little one there. Got a bit of glue on my fingers now. Just move that over. There we go. And I'm going to put one. Where shall I put this one? Maybe here. And so I'm putting 5 on, keeping to my odd numbers. And I'm going to add a bow, but I will just actually put this onto the front. Actually, before I put it onto the front, let's stamp inside the card. So I am using the flower and the leaf and grey granite. And I would also put this on the envelope. I'm not going to stamp this one off. Will just stamp directly. And a leaf. One, and I might just do a little one coming off this end here. Oops. Go. Easy as that, which is what I did on the base of the card, creating my own sort of like DSP, just exactly as I did there, I've done on the background. Okay, let's pop a little bit of glue on here. And we'll pop that on the front. There we go. And one last thing, the bow, and I have used my favourite ribbon, Whisper White. This is Whisper White crinkled seam binding ribbon. And I have cut a small piece off. This is great too. Now blends, I should also add, blends can be fantastic for colouring ribbon, and also for, I'll show you on here, colouring ribbon, or if you have diamantes and you didn't have pool party and you wanted to have pool party embellishments, these are also fantastic for colouring pearls or your diamantes, your basic jewels. And it's quick as easy as that to, I'll do this one to show you. The other one is white, and I'll do this one in pool party so I can show you. It dries quickly, which is fantastic, being alcohol blends. So such a great way to coordinate everything. These blends are just certainly a must-have, I think. Okay, so let that dry quickly, and I'm just going to tie a little bow. And hopefully I'm going to tie a little bow. And should have given myself more. It was just an extra piece that I had, so I thought, oh, I'll try and use that. Don't want to waste it. And nearly there. Perfect. Okay, now I'll use a glue dot for that. And I will pop that on the back. That's a bit twisted still. Hang on. It's not going to come out for me. I'll turn it over. That helps. There we go. Pop the glue on the back. And there we go. And I'm just going to snip it down. Snip the ends down. Make sure I don't get my card. There we go. So that's the two cards, one with the pool party ribbon and one with the white ribbon, and using blends. So I really do hope you enjoy. Please do give it a go. Don't forget to click on to the next person's video. You will be learning so much about using blends. I'm sure every one of us has a different way of using them. So please do watch and maximize the use of your amazing blends. So enjoy, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.